It's a classic catch-22 situation. Technicians can't gain experience because shops won't take on the work, and shops won't take on the work because technicians don't have experience. Let's talk about why this labor shortage exists. If you want to be a part of the conversation before it happens here on YouTube, click that link in the description to join the free Courtside Financial Discord. What's going on, everyone? My name's Obi, and welcome back to the Courtside Financial Podcast, the podcast where we talk about business and technology while also giving you a no-nonsense perspective. Today, we're going to be talking about some critical updates in the EV industry that might not be making headlines, but are also crucial for a lot of our understanding. First up, we've got an interesting or intriguing update on Li Auto, a company that's been crushing it with their extended range vehicles, but is suddenly pumping the brakes on the rollout of their pure electric vehicles. What does this tell us about the state of the EV market in China, and what can companies like NIO learn from this? We're going to tackle a massive problem beneath the surface of the EV revolution that no one's talking about. And that's the fact that it's very hard to find qualified technical talent. We're seeing repair shops turning away EVs either because technicians don't know how to fix them or they're afraid to even try. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Let's kick things off with Li Auto's surprising play in the electric vehicle market. Now, for those of you who don't follow the new energy vehicle market as consistently as we do on this channel here, Li Auto has consistently been one of the top performers in the new energy vehicle market for some time now. Their March sales hit 36,674 vehicles, which was a 26.5% year-over-year increase. And for Q1, they delivered a total of 92,864 vehicles, right in line with their guidance of 88,000 to 93,000. Now, those are impressive numbers that put them in the top 3 Chinese new energy vehicle makers. But here's where it gets interesting. Li Auto is planning to launch 3 new pure electric vehicles this year, including the Li Auto Mega Ultra Intelligent Driving Edition, the Mega Home Family Special Edition, and the Li Auto i8 in July, and the Li Auto i6 in the second half of the year. With this ambitious product lineup, you'd expect them to have high expectations for sales, right? Well, here's the bombshell. Out of their 700,000 units sold target, only 50,000 of them are expected to be pure electric vehicles. Let that sink in for a moment. That's just 7% of their total sales target. This conservative approach is raising eyebrows across the industry, especially coming from a company that's been so aggressive in its sales growth strategy. Now, I've been tracking Li Auto's moves for a while, and this conservative approach appears to be connected to their Mega. If you remember, the Mega launch didn't go as planned, and they even faced a class action lawsuit over it. That seems to have left Li Auto with some serious aftermath in the pure electric space. But the headwinds aren't just internal, they're facing some serious competition from companies like Xiaomi with the YU7, as well as well-established players like Tesla's Model Y, Zeekr X, and the modified models from NIO and XPeng. The pure electric market in China has become what analysts are calling a Red Sea, brutally competitive with margins getting squeezed from all directions. What fascinates me most about the situation is how it reflects the psychology of Li Auto's consumer market base. These customers have specifically chosen extended range technology because of range anxiety. On social media, one of the most common reasons cited by Li Auto owners as a whole is simply that extended range is really good. I came across a quote from a Li Auto owner who bought their car in 2024. They said that there is a lot of controversy about extended range electric vehicles online. Some people say it's technologically backwards, while others think it's just a refrigerator, TV, and sofa. But I think that you can only know whether a car is good after you drive it. There's no perfect car. Only the car that suits you is a good car. The same owner also admitted something revealing. At 120 kilometers per hour on the highway, Li Auto seems to be more expensive than a gasoline car. So if it's just to save money, I'd better buy a pure electric car. And Li Auto understands this consumer psychology deeply. Their conservative pure electric strategy is both a reaction to past failures and a strategic buffer. They're trying to buy more time for technology development market research, and user education while navigating the realities of the pure electric space. Now let's look at what Li Auto is doing to break through these challenges. They're certainly not standing still. In 2024 alone, they invested 11.1 billion yuan in R&D. That's a 7.7% increase year over year, and it represents 7.7% of their total revenue. So this isn't a small change that we're talking about. In the electric powertrain space, Li Auto has launched an independent R&D project for automotive systems, jointly developed with the industry's first mass-produced 5C supercharger battery with CATL, and helped Xinhuangdu build and operate a battery pack production line. Li Zhang, the chairman and CEO, emphasized at their 1 millionth vehicle roll-off ceremony that since its establishment, Li Auto has always regarded self-developed core technologies as an important cornerstone of corporate development. They're aggressively trying to build out their own charging infrastructure. According to the data, Li Auto's 5C supercharging network is taking shape. By the end of the year, they plan to achieve coverage of more than 90% of national level expressways and a coverage of 90% for core urban areas in tier 1 to 3 cities. Here's my take as someone who follows the sector closely. Li Auto faces fundamental challenges, especially since they're still heavily associated with family users. Industry analysts suggest that they might benefit if they adopt something like BYD's Dynasty plus Ocean dual line strategy, launching coupe models for younger users and smart cockpit models for the business market, and even entering the micro electric vehicle segment. This diversification would allow them to cover users across multiple price ranges through diversification strategy. They could maintain their base with the L series while opening up to Gen Z users a little bit more. Youthful designs and tapping into business travel with their smart cockpit technology. Now let's shift gears and talk about a critical issue that's happening in the EV industry, and that's the shortage of technicians. The numbers here are stark. By the end of 2024, China had 31.4 million new energy vehicles on the road. That's about 8.9% of their total vehicle fleet. In 2024 alone, they registered 11.25 million new energy vehicles, accounting for 42% of all newly registered vehicles. That's a 51.5% increase from 2023. But here's the problem. Across all of China, there are fewer than 20,000 new energy vehicle maintenance companies and fewer than 100,000 new energy vehicle maintenance personnel. That's a massive gap that's only going to widen even more as new energy vehicles hit the road. I spoke with several new energy vehicle industry contacts about the issue, and what I'm hearing is concerning. A maintenance company owner explained it this way: fuel vehicles have been developed for so many years. Many core technologies of engines, gearboxes, and motors are public and have been thoroughly studied. They're all commonalities in maintenance. But with new energy vehicles, it's a completely different story. Private repair shops not only lack the specific instruments required to obtain fault codes and detect data anomalies, but they also struggle with the electronic and intelligent nature of these failures. Unlike traditional vehicles, technicians can't diagnose problems through visual inspection or experience alone. The result is that many maintenance shops are turning down customers who approach them with their electric vehicles. At present, it's usually online car hailing drivers that come for repairs or new energy vehicle accidents, and this type of business accounts for a small portion. There are not many cases of minor problems with the new energy 3 electrics. Generally, if there's a problem, it's directly replaced. We can't do these businesses either. The situation is so bad that according to the employment status of auto repair shops in 2025, 80% of people who work at current auto repair shops were born in the 1980s and 1990s. These traditional technicians have weak basic knowledge of electrical circuits and practical experience with EVs. It's a classic catch-22 situation. Technicians can't gain experience because shops won't take on the work, and shops won't take on the work because technicians don't have experience. Let's talk about why this labor shortage exists. First, there's a massive learning curve. Unlike traditional vehicles where mechanical components dominate, new energy vehicles are primarily electronic. Failure modes are completely different, namely electronic and communication failures rather than mechanical failure. Working with components like power batteries brings in high voltage safety concerns, which makes the transition from oil to electricity very challenging for technicians. And to add to this, add the fact that there's dozens of new energy vehicle brands, each with different internal structures and working principles. Without access to core technology details and maintenance artifacts, few technicians are willing to risk their professional reputation or consumer safety by attempting repairs that they're not fully prepared for. As one car sales company head put it, new energy vehicle companies do not disclose the core technologies of batteries, motors, and electronic control systems, and it's difficult for general repair shops to obtain manufacturers' authorization. If the problem involves a failure in the 3-electric system, traditional auto repair shops often cannot repair it nor dare to repair it. The training pipelines also severely constrained. Despite rising demand for EV maintenance personnel, vocational colleges aren't producing enough graduates with the right skill set. And these skills aren't skills that you can develop overnight. New energy maintenance personnel need to understand more than maintenance. They need to understand electrical principles, equipment communication, motor control, and more. One vocational assistant admitted, "We are still not fast enough. We didn't expect the new energy vehicle industry to explode so quickly." From secondary vocational education to higher vocational education to employment, the talent growth cycle takes at least 5 to 6 years. So the result, even with salaries 30 to 40% higher than traditional technicians, companies are still struggling to recruit and retain qualified talent. Many are resorting to cooperating with technical schools and even regularly using interns to make up for the shortages. So where does all this leave us? The EV industry is clearly facing some growing pains that weren't anticipated by many analysts. The Red Sea competitive environment is forcing companies like Li Auto to recalibrate their pure electric ambition, and the critical shortage of qualified technicians threatens a maintenance crisis just as EV adoption is accelerating. So I think for investors, for anybody interested in the EV industry, these concerns underscore the importance of really just looking beyond the headlines. You can't just look at the sales numbers. We've got to understand the structural challenges that these companies are facing. Those that can build comprehensive ecosystem from sales to service will likely have an edge as the market matures. That's it for this episode of the CF podcast. Hope you found it insightful, useful, informative. If you found it to be any of those things, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. See you in the next episode. Obi signing off. Goodbye. Thanks.